There's a scam going around that's on the rise, and it's happening more and more. You guys need to know about it. Let's get started. It's not a new scam. It's not something that's new. They're reinventing an old trick. It's been happening here or there, but I'm starting to see it more and more, like I just mentioned. What's going on is, it's not so much where they broke something, or they installed used parts, or did a really bad job. It's that they're doing nothing. They're charging you for a part being replaced or something that needs to be done on your car, and you're paying for it. They didn't even take the bolts loose. They did nothing. What's going on here is they're counting on you probably not going to go behind them and check their work or verify that you actually did get those parts replaced. You'll be none the wiser. You paid for something and got nothing. That's exactly kind of what happened on this Maserati Levante, and it's really, really sad. The customer had to go back 5 times to get issues resolved, that they didn't do a good job. And finally, the customer looked at the bill and started looking at things and said, I wanted all brakes done, but my rear brakes are still the old rusty rotors. They didn't even do it, and it's on the bill. And that's when they said, enough. I'm done with this place. Actually, the spouse of the customer has heard of Omega and the Car Wizard and everything, and they said, let's take it there. And I'm very glad they did, because we will charge them for work we actually do. We will do the work here, and we'll have a happy customer, and hopefully they keep coming back. Ever since Mrs. Wizard purchased her Levante, which for a long time we never saw another one around town. And lately we've been seeing a lot of them pop up here or there, and this one showed up to the shop as well. It's getting to be known that these are actually very reliable. And Video Bob's going to be doing a video soon on his channel if you want to check it out when it's released. He just purchased one of these as well, based on the fact that he's heard nothing but good reports about post-2018 or 2018 and newer Maseratis. They're actually very reliable. Just like on Hoovie's Garage, you guys remember the Maserati. No, I didn't say Maserati. I'm talking about meth, like the drug meth. Maserati. Where Hoovie actually purchased one with 100,000 miles. It hadn't even had an oil change in 30,000 miles. And in the back trunk area, he found meth rocks. Like real, honest to God, drugs in his car. The previous owner must have been a drug dealer or something, running from the cops. Who knows what they were all doing. 30,000 mile oil change. It had been severely abused. We got all that solved in the shop, and Tyler took it on a car track, the Oregon Fail Series, and he purposely, on purpose, tried to break the Maserati. In fact, there were running bets with Ed Bolian and Tavares and all of us. We were talking, we're like, which of these cars is going to break down first? And everyone said, well, of course it's going to be the Maserati. They're garbage, right? Wrong. As hard as I beat that thing, it refused to break. It never even had a check engine light. It never had any trouble. The other cars broke down, not the Maserati. So I'm starting to see those things happen, and it's like, wow, there's something going on here. So let's talk about the things that happened on this vehicle that gave such a negative experience with this customer at the previous shop. Let's take a look around it first. Isn't that a beautiful face, Mrs. Wizard?
It is. I really like these faces.
This one's in very good shape. You'll notice as we go around, it's a different trim package than Mrs. Wizard's. It has some different wheels, some different things, different interior features that we'll see here in a minute. But it has some nice Bridgestone tires on it. The wheels are a different size. I think these are 19s and Mrs. Wizard's are 20s. As we go down the side, there's not a whole lot of differences for the rest of the body. Everything else looks the same. We come around to the back. We can see it's a Q4, which means it's all-wheel drive. It's kind of dusty and dirty. This customer uses actually for work. They use this vehicle. No dents, no scratches. It's not beat up. It's not rusted out. It's in very good shape. Let's hop under the hood. So here we are, you can see it's dusty and dirty. Like I said, the customer uses it for work. We'll pull this engine cover off. We can see the 3-liter twin-turbo V6, which is a Ferrari California T engine minus 2 cylinders and a cross-plane crankshaft, not a flat plane. It is twin-turbo. It has how much horsepower, Mrs. Wizard?
345.
345, and it gets up and moves, doesn't it?
It really does.
Pretty good power for a 3-liter V6, and also on the highway gets 25 or 26 miles per gallon. It's pretty good for all that power. These are not all that hard to work on. One thing the customer had done was spark plugs, and we think that that's been done. These are the coils, but you can see the inside of this fastener, it's like a dark gray color, like there's been a tool in there. If you look at this one over here, it's a light gray color on the inside of that hex. There's not been a tool in that bolt. So the only way we're going to know if that's actually been done is at least pull one plug out and see if it looks brand new. So let's do that real quick. I've actually had people comment and say, these are not Ferrari engine. Car Wizard, this is not a Ferrari engine. What does that say? This is a Ferrari coil. One thing to keep in mind is that these have a 14mm spark plug on them. That's not your typical 5/8, so I have a special socket for that. There we go. If you ever have a spark plug that won't come out of the hole, you can always use one of these little magnets, actually kind of a pin magnet, I guess you call it. These are actually on our Amazon affiliates page. In the description below, it takes you to that if you want to check it out. It does not appear to be brand new. If it was done maybe a while back, but that does not appear to be a brand new plug at all. It's quite dirty. I would say these are original plugs. So this vehicle has 60,000 miles on it, and those plugs appear to be 60,000 mile plugs. It does look like somebody's been in there messing with the coils, but I don't know. I mean, they're supposed to replace the plugs. It does not appear that they did. So there's one scam possibly on this ticket. She paid for plugs. Those plugs look original to the car. At 60,000 miles, does modern platinum or iridium plugs need to be replaced? No. They usually go 100, sometimes 120. I usually tell a customer to run plugs until it just starts to misfire. Then it's time for plugs. Don't let it go long time that way because it could hurt the coils. I've had customers get 150,000 miles out of a set of iridium plugs. So, we'll put this cover back on. It does not need new plugs based on how long they last. Whether or not these were replaced, that will be between the customer and the previous shop. I don't know, but it doesn't appear that they were. Here's another item I'm going to show you that I know wasn't replaced. Let me show you where the cabin filter goes. The customer did pay for a cabin filter, but let's find out, did they actually change it? So it's right here on the windshield cowl. Remove this cover here. Open up a second cover. And there we go. Here's our cabin filter. Look at that, guys. Does that look like a brand new changed out cabin filter to you? She sure didn't get one though. But that's just really too bad. But while it's here at Omega, it will get a new cabin filter. At 60,000 miles, it definitely is something that could need to be replaced, is the cabin filter. This one has been there since new, I believe. It's unfortunately not been changed. But wait, there's more. Remember, I told you she had to go back 5 times. So we know the plugs possibly have not been replaced, even though they were supposed to be. I know for a fact the cabin filter was not replaced. Remember, she paid for all 4 brakes to be done. But let's go check her complaint on the rear brakes. She believes she looks at them and knows they're not new. Let's go take a look. So here we are at the rear brakes. And I can see right now that this rotor is original to the car. It's also very rusty. You can see rust all through here, little dots of rust. The pads are 50% used up. and they're original Maserati pads from when it was new. So no, they did not get rear brakes in the back like they paid for. So now let's move up to the front. Did they get new brakes at least? So these do appear to be new. It's got a nice surface on it. You can see the paint on the rotor is not rusted. It's fairly new. There's no rust present at all. And these pads are really thick, like brand new pads. So yes, the front was done, but not the back. So why? Why was this done this way? I have no idea. All the years that I've been working on cars, this is a method that I would never have used. If a customer paid for all 4 brakes, I'm going to do all 4 brakes because I want them to come back. I want to do more work for the customer. Do you think they're going back to this previous shop? No, never again. So did they really make any money? Did they really get over on them? No, I think that they got over on themselves. Just like Dr. Dre said, you disrespect me, you disrespect yourself. So remember that. So could it be that the rears are so much harder to do that they just chose to skip that part? No, they're actually easier to do in the back. The caliper's smaller. There's really no difficulty increase or anything like that. Again, I don't understand it. I don't know why.
There it is, 60,645 miles. That's it. And it looks really good in here. The gauge cluster is the same, I think probably for most trim levels. You'll see lots of tridents throughout this car. A couple in there, a couple on the steering wheel, a couple on the glass, a couple on the seats. They're pretty much everywhere. So kind of be a fun game for you to see if you can spot them all. But everything's looking really good here. One thing that is different that we see right now is the brown leather surrounding the gauges. As we move, it is leather wrapped on most of our dash. The center area, the black, is not leather wrapped, but it does contain our ever so cute analog clock. Isn't that adorable? As we move around, more of the leather wrapping. Levantes of this year love piano black, and there's a lot of piano black in here. A lot of people bash on it, but it really isn't too bad to keep clean. This little area can be one of the hardest to keep clean. That touch screen. You see lots of fingerprints on there, but it's hard to keep that area clean. And you know, this person, as the wizard said, did use this car, and they used this car for their work. Now, lots of controls there on that touchscreen. As we move down, it's very simple controls for the HVAC system. You'll see they do have some elements and items out for using this car, but it is an automatic. We do have our turn selectors for our radios and just some simple controls as well. We do have gray leather in our center armrest area, which does have butterfly doors that open up to a center area, which has, you know, of course, essentials like, you know, a brush and sunglasses, of course. Our seats are brown leather with a little bit of bolster on the sides. They are quite comfortable. The headrest is a little bit different than the one that is in my Levante, other than being brown and not red, but it does have an embossed trident in the center as well. Door card is also more of the leather wrapped areas with brown and black, and more of the piano black with some silver kind of aluminum accents as well. One thing that's always interesting is when people get in the car with me, they're like, how do I get out? Where's the door handle? Maserati has done a very good job of integrating and hiding that door handle quite nicely, but it is right there. You can kind of see the hinge there, but it's very nicely integrated in where a space to put your hands to pull open. So well done, Maserati. And this is it for our interior tour. I told you, they use this car for their work. So while the back seat isn't trashed by any means, there's a lot of items and personal items in there that are covering some of the seats so we can't see them. They're not hurting them. They just have their stuff in the car, which they're allowed to do. It's their car. But here we have our lovely last trident that we can see right now in our steering wheel. Lovely design, nice and sparkly, but simple controls on that steering wheel as well, and a nice area to grip a hold of, which makes driving much more comfortable. So enough of this interior talk. Let's get this thing up in the air.
So here we are underneath the car. We can see there's really not much going on up here. We can't see the core support because the belly pans are in the way. We'll take a look here and see if the last shop missed anything. One thing I notice here is maybe on the last oil change they made a little bit of a mess. We're going to be doing an oil change while it's here, so we'll clean that up a little bit. We know that the front brakes have been done. We saw that on the outside. There's nothing loose here, no serious leaks. The struts are dry up there. CV boots are good, nothing leaking there. Again, the brakes are good over here. CV boots are good, strut is dry, sway bar link is good. Here's our transmission and the engine, everything's nice and dry. No leaks going on there. Our front shaft is good to go. Our dual exhaust goes into a resonator. And then from there it goes into like a little X pipe. And then back into dual exhaust again. Here's our differential. Everything is dry there. Our main drive shaft, our rear drive shaft is good. Check over here, we can see our boots are dry. The strut is dry. We're going to be putting new rotors and pads in the back. Those are on order. Here's our big airbag. This has air suspension all the way around. Go to the other side. CV boots are good. Strut is dry. Again, the brakes are going to be replaced, so everything looks good there. I don't see a whole lot going on under here, Mrs. Wizard.
No, it looks really good.
Well, let's get this thing on the ground and we'll talk about the last two items this customer was possibly scammed on. Like I mentioned, we're going to be doing an oil change. I wonder if she asked for an oil change and didn't get one. She was like, can you please do it here? Yes, we will be very happy to do your oil change. And also, she paid for an alignment and received the car back, and the steering wheel was even worse than when it originally was brought in. So she had to go back again. And after all these things happened, it's just like, she's like, you know what, I don't even want to look for a refund. I don't even want to talk to these people. I don't even want to see their faces anymore. It really pisses me off. And I get that. I've been in those situations before. Yes, you take a loss, you take a hit, but at some point you're just done. You're just done with the people. And I found many times that when you go try to resolve a situation it's already screwed you over on, their incompetence is probably going to get even worse, and it's going to get even worse for you. And you end up in a worse position than when you started, and it's best if you didn't even go there. So I think they chose a wise decision to just drop it, leave it alone, come here, and we'll get it taken care of properly. I hate that for this customer because it's a lot of wasted time and a lot of lost money. Unfortunately, I'm seeing this happen more and more. So I got all the parts on order. We will get it properly solved, get everything done that they want done, and they'll be happy again and very likely be bringing us their other cars. That's kind of the way it works. What's really crazy to me is most shop owners have one thing in common. They like to make money. But I think that if you do all the work that they paid for, they'll come back and you can make even more money. I don't see how any of these dealerships or even some of these shops think that they're making more money by robbing you and then you go away. I don't know. I don't know how that works, and I really don't want to know. That's not how I operate. So are the newer Maseratis piles of crap? No. They're actually very good. Keep an eye on Video Bob's channel. There's a video coming out. There's actually some videos already out showcasing his new Maserati. It's absolutely beautiful.
I'm
Very
so
nice.
jealous.
Yes, even the emblems on the back are red. And it has silk interior, a lot of really cool stuff. You guys have to go check it out. He's going to be putting out a video demonstrating just how good newer Maseratis are. They really are that good now. If you're curious what kind of tools we use in the shop, like I mentioned at the beginning with the magnet, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. If you purchase anything there, we get a small cut and we really appreciate it. Make sure to check out Mrs. Wizard's Way. She's got some good videos going on there as well. And also hit the subscribe button here because we have so many more videos coming down the pike for you guys. Thanks for watching.